Listen to the story A Little Journey by Ray Bradbury, Level B1, Oxford Reading University.
For one thing, Mrs. Bellows was already an aged woman. For another, Mr. Thirkell was going to transport her to God. He was unlike all the other people she had met previously. In her effort to light herself a path to God, she had struck many matches and explored many odd places. She had turned to the mystics of India and hunted down every astrologist in California. She tried to learn the truth about God's actual residence, but with no result. She had even given some of her property to an unknown church because its followers had promised to lead her to God. Even though all of them failed eventually, she let them fool her every time. Even when she saw them being arrested and taken away in the night, she refused to believe they were frauds. She convinced herself that the world had simply rejected them because they knew too much, and that was it. But then she saw Mr. Thirkell's ad in a newspaper. It said, "Fly to Mars, spend a wonderful week at Thirkell Space Resort, and then go on the greatest space adventure of your life. Fly to heaven to get as close to God as you possibly can." And so she had gotten herself a ticket, headed to Mars, and spent a lazy, uneventful week at Mr. Thirkell's space resort. All the while she had been thinking, "Soon I will board Mr. Thirkell's private rocket, and he will fire me out into space, away from all the planets and the stars. I will fly on till I reach God. I am prepared. I will go as soon as he calls for me." It was a pleasant thought, really. She could almost sense his breath on her skin as she pictured it. But as time went by, she started having her doubts. "Honestly," she once said to herself, "this Mars isn't as impressive as I was promised at all. The whole resort is nothing but a dirty hole. My room is as tiny as a prison cell, and the pool is a mess. And besides, what sensible woman my age would even want to swim?" So, when she entered the hall, she felt slightly annoyed already. She let the door slam behind her and looked around the room. For a moment, she froze in place. It was crowded with other old ladies, and they all looked exactly like her. The similarity between them was frightening. She felt trapped in a labyrinth of 100 mirrors, each of them reflecting herself. Then the curtains on the stage parted and a figure appeared. It was Mr. Thirkell. He scanned the audience with his perfectly round eyes, and Mrs. Bellows thought that his face reminded her of an ancient comedy mask. Yes, generally, he looked like a clown. The moment he appeared, she almost expected him to start dancing in a silly manner. Still, she strongly believed that this time, everything was going to work out. After all, they had a real rocket. But before Mr. Thirkell even started speaking, she felt that he was choosing his every word very carefully, as if something was bothering him. Her heart died within her. "My friends," he started, but she didn't let him finish. "No!" she shouted. "I fear we'll have to wait for one more week," he went on, fixing his liquid eyes on the audience. "There is a small legal issue with the rocket. It's nothing to worry about. I invite you to spend another wonderful week at the resort while we're dealing with it." "Yes, and pay another $20 for each day," thought Mrs. Bellows. "But we can't wait another week," a lady shouted back at him madly. "I've been staying here for a month already, and every week the flight is delayed." "I know," replied Mr. Thirkell calmly. "But what is 1 week compared to the lifetime you've already waited? It's no big deal." "But the rocket is fine, isn't it?" asked another woman. "Well, yes," replied Mr. Thirkell confusedly. "We want to see it," said Mrs. Bellows in a determined voice, and stepped forward. "Right now." Other women rose from their seats. "No, no, ladies, I fear this is impossible," said Mr. Thirkell quietly. "We'll only have to wait for 1 more week." "We've waited long enough," said Mrs. Bellows sharply, and jumped at him. She caught him with her arms and legs and held him tight. She would even bite him if she had to. She was like a mad dog, a small container that had blown up under the pressure of many long years of waiting. "This way!" she shouted at the top of her voice, and the other women followed her. They rolled through the stage and burst out of a back door like a giant flood, carrying poor Mr. Thurkell along with them. They got into an old gym and froze in place. The rocket was in front of them. "Here it is," someone's little voice sounded and died down, buried under a breathless silence. Indeed, the rocket was quite a sight. It looked more like a broken iron pot. It was covered with a thick layer of dust and had 1,000 rusty vents and crooked tubes on its surface. The dirty windows looked like the eyes of a blind dog. Mrs. Bellows was the first to get over the unpleasant surprise. "Is this the rocket?" she cried. "Is this why we came all the way to Mars? You want us to get on board this to go search for God? It's nothing but a pile of junk." "A pile of junk!" Other hysterical voices joined her one by one. "Catch him!" ordered Mrs. Bellows. The crowd of the mad old ladies closed on Mr. Thurkell within a second, leaving him no chance to escape. For some time, panic and confusion settled in the room. The ladies just walked around the rocket like blind mice, unable to admit that this rusty pot was their dream of a lifetime. "Well, it seems like a horrible thing has just occurred to all of us," Mrs. Bellows summarized. "Honestly, I cannot afford a ticket back to Earth, and I'd be too embarrassed to confess to the government that a fraud like him has tricked me and fooled me out of all my money. I don't know what you all think, but I know why we are here. It is because we're almost 100 years old already, and we're too tired of our meaningless lives. There is nothing left for us on Earth, and there seems to be nothing on Mars either. So what I suggest is quite obvious. Let's take the risk. We paid for this trip, and the rocket is ours." Mr. Thurkell started crying, and his pretended tears seemed almost believable. "You're right," he said. "It was all fake from the start. I don't know anything about space, and I don't know anything about where God is. He isn't out there, so I'd never find him even if I tried. It was all very stupid, and you were stupid to believe me in the first place." "Yes, we're all fairly stupid," agreed Mrs. Bellows. "But we're old people, and our dream was so lovely, so beautiful. It was the most beautiful dream in the world. Therefore, I cannot blame any of us. We didn't actually believe we could get close to God. No, it was just a mad dream, the one you hold on to even if you know it's fake. So, those of you who want to go, follow me in the ship right now." "But you don't even have a pilot," protested Mr. Thurkell. "You can't go." "You will be our pilot," she replied, and stepped into the ship. The other ladies followed her, pressing Mr. Thurkell inside as they went. They placed him in the pilot's seat and tied him down with the seat belt. Then they put on special oxygen helmets, and Mrs. Bellows ordered, "Head right into space." It was no use to protest. Mr. Thurkell pulled some switches, and the rocket took off. At once, everyone fell. The ship was going up with a crashing noise. It was as if someone had taken an entire kitchen with all its pots and plates and thrown it down an elevator shaft. The women held on to each other and started singing their prayers. "It won't last," cried Mr. Thurkell. "The rocket will—" And it did. The ship exploded. At once, all the old women were lifted and thrown around like toys, mixed with giant pieces of iron. There was no ship anymore, but the old ladies just flew ahead with the same enormous speed. Strangely enough, Mr. Thurkell was thrown to the opposite direction. Mrs. Bellows saw him falling down, straight into the sun, screaming with horror. "There goes Mr. Thurkell," she thought. "And here we are. We're going on." The other old women were swinging around her, each in her own trajectory. They had several minutes of oxygen left in their helmets, but each of them was looking ahead, where the unseen force was taking her. "We are going on," thought Mrs. Bellows. "We're going out into space and through its darkness like a giant church, and its shiny stars like candles. And nothing matters. Not Mr. Thurkell, not all the lies, not even the rocket. None of this matters. We are going to God." And wherever she fell on, she could almost see his soft hand reaching out to her, to hold her, and to calm her like a frightened bird. "My name is Amelia Bellows," she said in her gentlest voice. "I come from the planet Earth."
Hit the like button so that we know you want more stories like this. And now, check out another brilliant audiobook.